Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.
Teddy covers the Prez. Thank you guys all. You're watching WagerTalk Today. Good show today, Teddy. Marco, right off the top, we're going to talk both Monday Night Football games. Matt Joseph coming on as well. We're going to go through some props for tonight's game. And, of course, Ralph Michaels, always the pen. That has literally become his nickname. I don't even know if it's a good one or not. We'll ask him if he enjoys it. And you, a lot of you, we got 3 lead stories today. 3, I tell you. The first one, guys, I got to give a shout out to a couple of ridiculous days this past weekend. Gianni yesterday in NFL, Teddy. Do you know what Gianni laid down in NFL?
What'd he do?
11-1.
Sweet.
Dude
That's a big
went
day.
1 in NFL. Las Vegas Chris, 16-4 this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. 16-4. Just some unbelievable stuff. Nick Borman, 7-0 yesterday. McGinnis, 4-0. McGinnis, 5-0. Marco, 4-0. Merrill, 3-0. Just unbelievable stuff going down at Wager Talk and Sports Memo, and especially Sports Memo, Teddy. The guys there are killing it in college football. It's $9 Mondays, everyone. Check us all out. Sports Memo, Wager Talk, anybody's plays for $9. Second lead story, Teddy. Barking dogs, man. Yesterday was the day for the dogs. And some outright winners. The New York Giants, double digits, really played a hell of a game. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, we saw a bunch of barking dogs yesterday. And in particular, it's something that absolutely stood out. There were a lot of flat efforts by home favorites against non-divisional foes. You look at the Vikings yesterday. You look at the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins got the money, but the Dolphins, it certainly wasn't one of Miami's better games. We saw the Titans, a non-divisional home favorite of more than a field goal, come out completely flat. The Seahawks came out flat. I guess the Packers were the only team of the bunch. And, of course, the Chiefs not getting there, even in division game late.
Don't forget the New York Jets, Teddy. I mean, there was a lot of money coming in on Vegas, and Vegas was lucky to get out of there with a win. It was a shame, though, for the New York Jets. They had that game. Great ending. My God, there has been drama this year. And the third lead story, Teddy, Prez broke another TV set yesterday. Yes, he did.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it's not that bad. They're cheap. They're about $300 because they're the little TVs. I never, ever break the big one. Only the little ones that sit on the side. I had the over in the Indy game. Yes, I did. And, 24-20 at the half. I needed 1 touchdown in the entire second half to win that game. I did get a safety. That was kind. And then it ended, of course, with a bad... I had it checked off the list, bad snap to lose a game. So I've now covered that on my bad beats of 2020. So thank you. But I did kiss my sister yesterday. I had a break-even day, but wow! You got my text. That Indy over did me in. And then, of course, you texted me and didn't make me any more happy.
So if it makes you feel better, Prez, what happened yesterday in the Colts-Texans game when it came to the total, we had 44 at halftime. And then it became the first game in NFL history according to Football Outsiders. First game in NFL history where both teams scored 17 or more in the first half, and the second half scoring was just a safety. And that's all it was in the second half. Of the 10 drives after halftime, 5 of them, whether it was Houston or Indy, got into opponent's territory. 3 ended in punts from between the 40 and the 50, and then there were 2 non-touchdowns right by the goal line that both went against you. But why do you keep having all these bad beats, Prez? You're having, I would say, more than the average person. The only reason I can think of is God hates you.
Yeah. So, Teddy, I will actually explain why I have all these bad beats. Because, look, I am now officially 14-1 with extra points going against me. I have lost some doozies this year. 2 weeks ago, I had the Atlanta over. That was the 3rd time in history that happened. And really, the reason I have these bad beats is because God loves me. And I'll explain why, Teddy. I have a sexy woman. I'm handsome as crap. I'm jacked to the core. I have enough money to retire for the rest of my life. I live in Canada. Everything in my life is exceptional. And in order to appreciate the love that God has for me, he takes one thing away from me. And that is, I never hit my card in poker. And I have a shit ton of bad beats in football. It's a little bit of balance. He's keeping me honest, Teddy, and I'm okay with that. Because as I say at the poker table, I'm lucky in life, just not in poker. Marco D'Angelo, 4-0 Sunday, nails his 5% play with the Rams. I had the Rams. Nice win, Marco. Did you get a little nervous on the punt, the messed up punt?
Yeah, I was, as you text people, I have a person that I text that whenever things go like that. And yeah, I was not happy, and I cannot repeat the words that were involved in that text. But, Prez, when you were running down all of your things that, you're so blessed with, you left the very important one off the list. You
Having
are
an
in
incredible
business
partner.
with a part. Yeah, you have the best business partner in the world, co-founder with you.
I do. And I just want to say for the record that Johnny and Rick have been nothing but a pleasure to deal with since day one. I could not ask for better partners. Both of them, I mean, Johnny is just a world-class operator. Rick's humility and calm. You're right, Marco. I have the best partners that I could possibly have. So thank you for that. And just for the record, I could continue running down my list of bad beats, but I won't. And Marco, I do have a man crush on you. Mostly your mind, because physically you're not my type. Anyway, dude, we got to get going, man. Oh, and Gianni, Teddy, got on our show, literally told everybody that Vittori was the man in MMA, stressed it, made sure we bet it. He won as well. Andy Land won his 5% play that we spoke about on Friday. Man, we are rolling. $9 Mondays, Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Check us all out. Marco, let's get into tonight's game. Pittsburgh, you are a big fan of them. Undefeated. Playing Washington, coming off a great Thanksgiving win with a nice, juicy, long rest compared to what do you like in this game, my friend?
Well, Prez, I do love the Steelers, and I am representing with my Big Ben shirt on here under my suit jacket. But, I like money better. And, with this game, to be totally honest with you, when this line came out last week, at the beginning of the week, there were 10s out there with the Steelers, minus 10. And on the show that I do bet on it, we were all over the Redskins at plus 10. Now, obviously, that game come down whenever the the line comes off the board when they played that stupid Wednesday game for the Steelers having to play Baltimore, which really factors into why we've seen what's happened with the line. The Steelers are on a horribly short week, and it was a very physical game, as all of the Pittsburgh Baltimore games are. So it's a huge disadvantage for the Steelers to have to play a game on a short week, coming from Wednesday back on Monday. Thanks, the NFL moved the game from Sunday to give the Steelers an extra day. That was really big of them. But, when you play a game like that, I can tell you, you read quotes and stuff from Steeler players in the past. They're in the ice bucket for the ice tub, the next day after those games. They're so physical. So Pittsburgh ended up losing some key elements in that game. Out of that game, linebacker Bud Dupree out for the rest of the season. Now, if you remember earlier this season, the Steelers also lost a big linebacker in Devin Bush. Now you've got two of the three key ingredients on the linebacking core gone for the Steelers. And this is really going to affect TJ Watt, because why the Steelers, them and the Rams have been, dominant this year on getting to the quarterback in sacks, is because they have a tandem. If you double team one of them, the other guy's going to come free. Well, now with not having Dupree on the other side to worry about, TJ Watt's going to get all of the double teams, and that's going to slow down his situation as far as sacks and the Steelers getting pressure on the quarterback. So that's going to be something to look forward moving forward in here. Speaking of other injuries for the Steelers that are key here, center Marquise Pouncey will be out again this week. He is the stability of that offensive line, and people don't put enough emphasis on injuries to centers. Those are the guys that are calling out the blocking schemes, and that's important when you talk about the Steelers, because Big Ben never has been a mobile quarterback, okay, but his strength has let him, fight off a lot of pass rushes and extend plays. Well, this year, with the quarterbacks coach, they have changed Ben's style. He's quick to get rid of the football. He's one of the fastest in the NFL in release time this year, and it's really protected him and helped the Steeler offense. But now there's going to be some blocking schemes with Washington in that pass rush and Chase Young. They can put pressure on Pittsburgh, and I think it's going to disrupt the passing game a little bit for the Steelers. So that's a problem. Add all of that up. If that's not enough, one more key injury. You've got the kicker for the Steelers, Chris Boswell, not going to be on the sidelines tonight for this one with a hip injury. Steelers had to sign a kicker to the practice squad. They haven't officially announced him as the starter, but that's the move that they made. Kicking at Heinz Field, if you ever watched games there or attended games there like I have, is no fun, especially if you're in the open end of the stadium. Kicking there in the months of December and January, where you can get the wind whipping right off the river, it's not fun. So that could be a problem for the Steelers as well tonight. With all of that said, I gave out Washington on Bet On It at +10. The value's gone. I'm not saying Washington cannot cover this spread, but now there's been such a change in the line where the value is, and it's what I actually ended up giving my customers yesterday. I gave them a teaser with the Cleveland Browns, teased with Pittsburgh. Now I'm just asking Pittsburgh to win the game. I think they're going to find a way to still come out alive in this game with a win. Hopefully it won't be in dramatic fashion like the Raiders had to do yesterday. But I see it as a tight game. I see this coming down to a late field goal, and hopefully for Pittsburgh, they're able to get it done with whoever they have kicking for them today. And I'm going to take Pittsburgh on a teaser here, guys. My projected score on this game is 23-10 or 23-20, which obviously getting the 10 points on my other bet. I've got a pretty nice middle setup for myself, but I wish I could be more definitive for you guys on this game, but it is what it is. The value is with the Steelers on a teaser, in my opinion, but I still think Washington's going to get the cover in this game.
So when you look at Washington over the course of the season, and look, the last 5 weeks, they played much better. They haven't lost a game by more than a field goal and since dating back to October, really the last 6 games. But of course, they played the Giants, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Lions, the Bengals, and the Cowboys again. In the 4 games that Washington has played against, let's call them decent teams this year, playoff caliber teams, Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore, and the Rams. That's the only 4 games they played against quality competition, and they've lost every one of those games by 2 touchdowns or more. Tonight, they're being asked to hang within less than a TD. I understand the bad spot for Pittsburgh, but is Washington good enough to do that?
Well, Teddy, I think this Washington team, and I cannot argue with you about the situation as far as Washington in their schedule. You can only play who's in front of you. But what I can tell you is that rundown that you said, the good teams that they faced and they played poorly, Alex Smith wasn't the quarterback. Okay. We haven't seen Washington against a better team with Alex Smith yet. I think this team is night and day better with Alex Smith. Not only does it make the offense better with him on the field, because now teams do have to respect the pass. They don't have to just stack the box, stop the run, because they really weren't scared of the passing game before. It has made the defense for Washington better. And what I mean by that is Washington's offense is staying on the field for longer periods of time, more sustained drives, more stability with Alex Smith. That makes a Washington defense that was actually okay before even better now. And this team has been maturing. As good as Chase Young's going to be in the NFL, he still was a rookie. He's still learning the game, and he's getting stronger each week. And I said this entire defense is. So that's my point, Teddy. Good point about the schedule, but you can only play the teams that are put in front of you. Now they'll get tested today, against a good team with Alex Smith, but there'll still be an asterisk to that one because the narrative will be Pittsburgh's shorthanded. Pittsburgh's playing on a short week off of their biggest rivalry game. And as I said on Bet On It, you want to talk about sandwich games. This is the, mother of all sandwiches. They're coming off their hated game against Baltimore. Doesn't matter what the records are. They hate Baltimore. And if they could knock Baltimore, out of playoff contention, that was big for them and to keep the undefeated season. And what do they got on deck? They got a Sunday night matchup in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills, which to me, the 2 games left on a Steelers schedule where, that they are in desperate, precarious situation to the undefeated season would be that Buffalo game. And then the last game of the season in Cleveland at the Dog Pound. That one will be a war.
You know what my biggest problem is the main host of this show. I don't know how to interrupt you, Marco. I'm trying to move this along. You're going on and on and on. I'm like, did he breathe? Is there the spot? What about here? What about there? What about there? Anyway, dude, we are running right out of time with you. We still have another game left. I do want to make mention, Marco, it's very important. We have the most thumbs down we've ever had at the beginning of a show. We have 5. 2 of them was even before the show begun. It's got to be you. With that said, we've got Buffalo going into San Fran. And, man, this is a game that is fascinating to me because Buffalo, if they're for real, they've got to be able to go to San Fran and beat them up. With that said, I don't know if they're going to. San Fran -1, 47. Marco, Teddy is not going to ask you a follow-up question here. So if you can just keep this to maybe the time it takes you to eat that sandwich you keep talking about. So 90 seconds.
I'll keep this one short. This is a good game, guys, with Buffalo, and talked about the Steeler situation. It is a look-ahead spot for Buffalo, but I think Buffalo wants to, redeem themselves because if you remember, the last time they were in this building, they got hell Murrayed on the final play of the game, losing to Arizona. This game is a home game for the 49ers, but it's being played in Glendale. We look at this one. This is a case of defense versus offense. Buffalo's got the much better offense, and the 49ers have the much better defense. I think both teams are going to score points tonight, and I am going to look to the over in this one. I see this one going right down to the wire, guys. My projected score is Buffalo 28-27, escaping with the win, but 55 total points would put us over the posted total here, and that's where I'm going to go to keep this one short for you guys. If you want to get a more detailed one, you can tune in later today to my other show, Bet On It.
Excellent stuff, dude. And great setup for the third best show on the Wager Talk Network. Marco, we love you, bro. Great blazer. We now have 8 thumbs down. I think I got to get you off. Well, that didn't sound right at all. I got to get you off this show. We're going to take a quick break, everybody. Right back with Teddy's Bad Beats segments. Love you, man. Thanks for being with us. Oh, wait. Are you in play tonight? Anything you want to sell?
We've got 2 plays up. I got a teaser for next week, and I've got a college football play up for Saturday. Check it out. $9 Monday.
Get out of here, brother. Love you, man.
It's not a secret how much free quality information WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet produce. And next up, we're giving out the WagerTalk College Basketball Guide. This might be the most informative collection of sports betting info we've ever produced. We're covering returning starters, offensive, defensive, and tempo rankings, recruiting rankings, head coaching info and background, and so much more. Even if you are the casual basketball fan, head over to the Ralph Michaels page and download this amazing guide for free.
It's time for Bad Beats, Bad Bets, and Bad for the Books. A little recap of what happened from a betting perspective over the weekend. These are always fun on a Monday. Let's start with a little bit of what happened in college football on Saturday. Let's see. Bad Beats, you had the Gators up 17, Gators laying 17.5 against Tennessee. They're up 31-7 going away. Oops. 2 late balls TDs equal 31-19. Tennessee comes through the back door. Backdoor cover for Oregon State as well. Utah led that game 30-10. This was a huge result for the books. Utah bet up from as low as -9. It was basically -14 everywhere by kickoff. That was a huge wise guy move, public move on Utes. And they led by 20, but the Beavs with back-to-back touchdowns ended up losing by 6. Tough beat if you had Utah. How about Auburn +6? Bo Nix was dodging bullets in that game. The Tigers up 6 heading into the 4th. They lost by 11. Oops, that didn't feel good. College football action yesterday. There was sharp money for Charlotte, sharp money for Washington State. Both of them got blown out. Not so sharp. And we saw there was a 40-0 run in college hoops yesterday. You don't see that every day. Ohio U -10 against Cleveland State. That was the single longest scoring run by a Division I team against another Division I team in NCAA history. Ohio scored more than 100. Cleveland had less than 50. It was pretty one-sided after the 40-0 run. And one more from college hoops for yesterday that was pretty tough. Penn State -2. They led by 8 with under 2 to play. They lost by 6 in overtime. Seton Hall, another impressive comeback win. When it comes to the NFL for Sunday, bad beats on overs. Prez referenced it at the top of the show. It was pretty rough. Colts and the Texans, 44 at halftime. The total was 50. And again, in the history of the NFL, there had never been a game where both teams got to 17 at halftime. And there was one safety as the only scoring in the second half. Well, sometimes you have something new in history. If you had the over in that game, that was a bad beat. And I said, we don't have as many bad beats on overs. That was one. What about the Jags and the Vikings? And again, this wasn't a true bad beat. The Jags missed an extra point. The Vikings missed 2. Both teams missed game-winning field goals at the end of regulation. But at 24-24, 51 is going to push or lose for over bettors. 52 or higher is going to win most of those bets. All right, the Vikings run it on every single play of the second possession of overtime. They get to the 1-inch line. They're going to punch it in and get the touchdown. Literally. It's an empty stadium. They're at home. Third down. Inch away. False start. Out trots kidder to Dan Bailey. 51 points at the end. That was tough if you had the over, even though it wasn't a true bad beat. How about the Bears yesterday? They were minus double digits in games on multiple occasions. You know, remember when they had a good defense? Lions rallied back from the dead, win straight up after an unconscionable Trubisky fumble on 3rd and 4, deep in Bears territory. And then, of course, the Bears got down to the red zone. And what happened? Montgomery gets stuffed. Not even a push for Bears backers. That was tough. The Dolphins scored only 1 touchdown yesterday. They still covered -10.5 against the Bengals. And if you had on the Jets on the money line, well, but nobody had the Jets on the money line. That was a bad beat only for the wise guys. Bad bets. Look, there was lots of wise guy money on the Falcons yesterday against the Saints, just like there was when they met 3 weeks ago. Well, it was wrong again. And of course, there was sharp money on the Chargers before kickoff yesterday. The Chargers, of course, ended up losing by 47 points against the spread, the single biggest point spread loss for any NFL team this entire season. That sharp money on the Chargers, not so sharp. Bad for books. Look, nobody laid points with the Bears yesterday. It was nothing but Lions money that drove that line down. That wasn't a good result. There was a big move, sharp money on the Browns before kickoff against the Titans. That wasn't a great result for the house. All the wise guys, Marco cashed in on them. I cashed in on them. I think Prez cashed in on them. The Rams at Arizona were a popular play. They took a fair bit of money. That, not a great result for the books. And of course, even though none of us bet the Jets on the money line, the Sharps did bet the Jets yesterday and won. There were pros versus Joes, Falcons, Saints, Jets, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos. And the pros won 2 of those 3 decisions. The only one for the Joes came in the Falcons Saints game. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, Lawrence.
Why, thank you, Teddy Covers. I want to do a couple of shout outs. D-Funk, 111, Focus, Pooh, Mike Peterson, Adam, and Jim Tempe. I love having you around, Andrew McGinnis. Nice day, 5-0 yesterday. Congratulations, Jem, Darren, all you guys. Teddy and I really appreciate you taking time out of the day to watch this show live. 522 of you guys watching, only 125 likes. Guys, I'm going to always ask you guys to please hit that thumbs up button. And anybody watching the show when it's archived, please make a comment. It really helps move us up the YouTube ranking. It's really all we ask from you guys. Also, make sure to check out all the handicappers over at Sports Memo. I know we talk about WagerTalk a lot on this show. We have 2 sites, 2 different teams. The Sports Memo team is just dominating right now, especially in college football. Matt is going to be on the show later. He's at Sports Memo. He's killing it. Dr. Chuck is killing it. Check any of those guys out. Check the guys out at WagerTalk. It's $9 Mondays. Teddy, my brother, we have a big congratulations for you, but we're not going to, I'm not going to explain that until tomorrow. So everybody tune in. Teddy had a massive life event happen over the weekend that we're going to talk about tomorrow on the show. And I'm
He's
excited
making it up.
and honored and honored to talk to you about it. So guys, tune in tomorrow to check out Teddy's big life-changing event. Teddy, what did we learn in the NFL? Hey, Teddy, stay focused. Stay focused. Think about Munch. What would Munch do?
Who's Munch?
Munch, the guy from Law and Order.
I never actually watched any Law and Order. Dude, I don't watch any episodes. I've never seen an episode of Law and Order in my life. But I suppose we look
but you know who we're talking about. Anyway, we already got people saying congrats to you. We already got people saying congrats to you, and they are right. The event that happened in your life this past weekend was so monstrous. Guys, you are right to congratulate him. Just wait tomorrow. You're not. You understand, Teddy? What did we learn? What did we learn this past week in the NFL? I'm going to go down the teams quick. We're going to start with the Browns. This team, they had a balanced offense. Baker looked great. They put up a ton of points. Have they moved up your power ratings down? Talk to me. Give me some Browns info.
They didn't skyrocket because I had them fairly high to begin with. But remember this, when it comes to the Browns, even at the end of yesterday's game, which was a blowout, the final score fairly close when it comes to point differential, which is something that certainly many of the advanced metric bettors pay a lot of attention to. Cleveland still has a negative point differential, okay? Even after the blowout yesterday that didn't have a blowout final score. So if you think the Browns are good, they're likely to be still moving forward something of an undervalued commodity. The market's not giving Cleveland the type of respect that many fans and many who have actually watched the Browns are giving at this stage. It was an impressive win yesterday, but their yardage numbers, their point differential numbers, their red zone offense numbers are still problematic enough that I don't think we're going to see a groundswell of betting market support for the Browns after yesterday's win.
Teddy, I don't know if you have a lot of raccoons in Las Vegas. We put our garbage out at night. The raccoons come every day. And the reason I say that is you got to feed the raccoon. And the problem with Tennessee is if they fall behind, they can't feed the raccoon. And that's what we saw yesterday. I think this Titans team can beat any team in the league so long as they stay close. Their defense is struggling, but a great cure to the defense is just hand 22 that ball. Where you put the Titans on your power poll?
They're a good team. I mean, I don't have my ratings up right now. If you're going to ask me specific power rating questions, the best thing to do would be watch the NFL's opening line report, which is coming up directly after this show, right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So we'll have that. That show usually starts a few minutes after 10 a.m. here on the left coast, a little bit after 1 on the East Coast. But when you talk about Tennessee, they're going to go. Number one, they're having all kinds of issues getting off the field on third down. Their third down defense isn't there. They have no pass rush, and that's going to doom them. They're not a Super Bowl contender because of that particular flaw. Okay, but when you say what's the upside between now and when they get eliminated from the playoffs, should they get to the playoffs? I'm worried about Derrick Henry. When you talk about the running backs wear down. Okay, they don't they can't carry 30 carries every week, and Derrick Henry looked tired yesterday. He genuinely looked tired. He wasn't breaking tackles. He didn't have that explosiveness. And if they don't have Henry as the bellwether back, they're not going anywhere. They're not winning any playoff games.
Teddy, the New York Giants-Seattle game was are the New York Giants, is their defense that good, or was Seattle just out of sync? And if you watch that game closely, it really felt like their wide receivers was just being swarmed. Russell Wilson would drop back, then he wouldn't be able to find any openings, and then he'd run 2 yards and get either sacked or tackled right after the line of scrimmage. How did you read that game?
Interesting quotes from Pete Carroll after the game, talking about how everything we thought was going to work didn't work, which says that the level of adjustment Seattle's making in game right now is something of a concern. But if you ask me, was it Giants good or Seahawks bad? The answer is both. Seattle was flat. Seattle didn't execute. The Giants blew up the line of scrimmage. The Giants secondary played really well. Let's give the G-men some credit. They're from a team that started 0-5. They're a heck of a lot better now than they were 2 months ago.
That is for sure. New Orleans Saints, this team just keeps rolling along. Their defense is outstanding. Boy, do they have the Falcons' number. Taysom Hill, first touchdown pass finally. He's really starting to look a little bit better. And now we have Drew Brees potentially back this week. The Saints have to be number 2 or 3 for you in this league. This team keeps rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it goes Chiefs, Saints, Steelers, or Chiefs, Steelers, Saints, however you want to put it, as the top 3, at least in my power ratings, and it's been pretty clear, and it's been that way for some time. The only thing you need to know about the Saints is this. The last 2 years, when Drew Brees is on the sidelines, 8-0 straight up, 8-0 against the spread. I don't expect Brees to play this week. I think he'll come back week 15, not week 14.
Yeah. Green Bay Packers, man, this team just didn't look that great yesterday. They remind me of Pittsburgh. They just play up and down to their competition. But Aaron Rodgers, I feel like he's the MVP. You look around at Pat Mahomes and all the weapons he has. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have that type of arsenal. Green Bay, man, they're not in your top 3, but there they sit right behind New Orleans in the NFC.
They're almost, it's not like there's a huge differential between where the Saints are, where the Steelers are, where the Packers are. We're talking a point, half a point, a point and a half. They're all in the same range as the NFL's upper echelon teams. But, and I like teams like Pittsburgh, like Green Bay that play up or down a level of competition. You make money with teams like that because the betting markets get confused, and we understand the fact, all right, yeah, the Steelers got an A game coming. They're going to bring their A game. The Steelers have a lesser game, or the Packers. They're not a team to lay these prices with. So I don't mind when teams are consistently inconsistent. Might be my favorite type of team of all in the NFL. Where you say, oh, I can't figure them out. You're like, well, there's a way to figure them out. They don't step up against bad teams, but they do step up against good ones. Love teams like that.
Teddy covers, everybody. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching Wager Talk Today. 173 likes. Thank you guys all so much. So many new names. Nick, Hector, Tuck, Matthew. We got a lot of guys listening from across the pond in the UK. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much. I want to make a quick mention on the Kansas City Chiefs, and then we're going to take a break. We got Matt and Ralph still to go. Teddy, your request to end the show at 10-1 is highly unlikely, but we do love you. My statement on the Kansas City Chiefs, and Tony and I spoke about this last night late. Teddy, I think this team is holding back. If they have 32 seconds, no timeouts, and the ball at their 20, they could score a touchdown anytime they want. They can move the ball on that field anytime they want, at any speed they want. I think this team is just playing possum, waiting for the playoffs. What is your feeling on? I mean, this is not a field goal football team.
They were yesterday.
That's because they're holding back. They're holding back,
no,
Teddy.
I disagree with that. I wouldn't buy that for a minute. It's a divisional opponent on the road, difficult conditions. You're doing everything you can to win that game, to put up margin, et cetera, et cetera. I agree with your assessment that if they're down by 6 and they get the ball at their own 20 with 30 seconds left, they're live to win the game. All right. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that on a game in, game out basis, they're like, oh, let's hold something back this week because we're going to show it in the playoffs. No. They're just
me and you will
the ability to have that level of execution for 16 weeks during this convoluted NFL season, no team can do it. And when you're facing a divisional foe, it's even tougher, as was the case for Denver against Denver last night, where the red zone offense just didn't work.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break. Just a reminder, everybody, make sure to check out tomorrow's show. We will be unveiling Teddy's life-changing, life-altering event this week. So check that out. We're going to take a quick break. Right back with Matt. Right back with Ralph.
Founded in 1957, The Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter. Each week, the Gold Sheet team delivers analysis on NFL and college football games, along with NBA and college basketball matchups. Just for $15 a week, you get 6 key release selections, updated power ratings on every team, key betting angles for the week, and point spread logs for all NFL and college football teams. Get started now by going to goldsheet.com.
Wow, you should have heard Teddy during the break. Holy moly. You're mad at me, and I don't care. I strut right by with my tail in the air. Yeah, I'm going to just keep delaying this, Teddy. Matt Joseph, 9-2, 14-4 run. I forgot what sport, though. I didn't write that part down. I think it was college football, right, Matt?
Yes, college football, that's for sure.
8-0 college football totals run. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. And Matt, listen, Teddy wants this show to end because he wants to, take a shit before his opening line report. So let's just get straight to it. Over in Saks, Pittsburgh, Washington. You like that? Tell us why.
Yeah, it's a prop that's going to come out probably closer to game time because a lot of the books are kind of afraid of this prop. And you look, and Alex Smith so far this season has been sacked 15 times in 5 games. And so if you average that out, that's about 3 a game. You look at this Pittsburgh pass rush, they blitz a ton. The Washington front line is not very good. And then you flip things over and you see a Pittsburgh Steelers team that played on Wednesday afternoon, and now the quick turnaround to go up against a defense like Washington's. I expect that they're going to get to Big Ben a couple of times too. So if it's 4.5, heck, even 5, you might get a push there. But I'm expecting at least 5 sacks in this game between Washington and Pittsburgh. So take the over if you can find that number closer to kickoff.
Teddy, you're too busy screaming at me in Slack, so you aren't aware that you're up next.
I am. I'm
JD
about to talk about J.D.
Teddy.
McKissick.
Teddy, you just scream at me in Slack. J.D. McKissick, you love this guy, Matt. You've been calling props out on him all year. Talk to us about that. You go, Teddy, you go back and yell at me.
All right, so J.D. McKissick here. So usually we're looking at the guy for receptions and receiving yards because he is the outlet back for Alex Smith. Well, I'm actually going to take advantage of a different prop and look at the under for his rushing yards today. And if you look at the trends in terms of what he does and when he's most successful running it, it's in games that they're winning or games that's really close. He had 43 yards against the Bengals. They won that game. He had 35 against the Cowboys the second time, and they won that game. He had 53 against the Cardinals. That was week 2, though, before Antonio Gibson got established. And then he had 41 in the close loss to the Giants on October 18th. The other games, 6, 6, 3, 6, -2, and 17. So this feels like one of those games where McKissick's going to be more of a receiver than a running back. So I'll take the under on his rushing yard for this game against the Steelers.
So we've got over sacks. We've got under McKissick rushing yards. Let's talk about the other game. Dawson Knox, the Buffalo Bills tight end. Receiving yards, what's he looking at? 15.5. Where are we going with Dawson Knox?
Yeah, guy's probably not going to be on a lot of people's prop list, and certainly he's not exactly on the Bills list here. He's been targeted 17 times this season. He only has 9 receptions. The last 4 weeks, he's only gone over this number twice. He's a guy that's going to get 1 catch maybe. Well, the 49ers have been really good against tight ends so far this year, top 5 when it comes to holding them to fantasy points, which equates to yards and receptions. Obviously, they held Zach Ertz to 9 yards, so a guy that's not going to get targeted a lot. We're getting a decent number here at 15.5, so I'll take the under for Dawson Knox receiving yards, especially at 15.5. He may get 1 reception. It could only be for like 10 yards. So there's some cushion there on the under on Dawson Knox.
Since John Brown got hurt in Buffalo, we've seen a new receiver step up for the Buffalo Bills. That guy, of course, Gabriel Davis, who has been, I'll call him an impact player for the Bills. Certainly last week he was, or last game he was. What do you think about Gabriel Davis tonight? He's not the name receiver in Buffalo, but he's a guy who could have some upside this evening.
Yeah, and as we've talked about in this segment, there are guys who are receptions guys, and there are guys who are yards guys. Well, last week I learned Gabriel Davis, unfortunately, is not a receptions guy. It was 3.5. I had 3. It was a loss. So I'll go over to the yards here, over 41.5. Last week, without John Brown, he played in 97% of the snaps, essentially the same amount as Stephon Diggs. He had 3 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown. October 13th, John Brown also did not play. Davis had 5 receptions for 58 yards on 9 targets. I see a lot of Richard Sherman on Stephon Diggs tonight. Now, look, Josh Allen loves Stephon Diggs. He's going to get him the ball no matter what, but Richard Sherman's still got a little bit left in the tank, and if he shadows him, I think Gabriel Davis is the recipient. He could get 1 long catch, 30, 40 yards. This is only 41.5. So I'll take the over for Gabriel Davis, who could break a huge playoff tonight against San Francisco.
Matthew Joseph, you rocked that segment out. Thank you so much, brother. I know it was a quick one, but hey, Teddy spent most of the show complaining, so he's dragged the show, and now we have to put the guests super tight. Matt, thank you again, brother. Way to go on both your NFL and college football season. You guys can find Matt at Sports Memo. Get out of here, bro. And Teddy, we got Ralph Michaels coming up in literally 50 seconds. I just want to make a shout out to one of our listeners, one of our best viewers, Roger. I believe this guy, Teddy. He's been watching the show since day one. He's never bragged. So the bottom line is this guy is on an 18-0 tennis run. Roger, congrats to that. That is sick, sick, sick. Please put your tennis plays up in the chat room so the rest of us can take advantage of that. Also, shout out to Steven, Boondog. And guys, one of our listeners at the beginning of the show asked, when are we going to have Las Vegas Chris on? Well, during the show, while Teddy was droning on, I contacted Las Vegas Chris, and he will be on Wednesday's show. So stay tuned. Oh, it's time for the pen. Ralph Michaels, we love you, bro. And Teddy wants the show to end soon, so I'm going to shut up.
Teddy, I'm going to get you out of here in those next 4 minutes, so don't you worry. I do need your feedback on this, though, because part of putting up these trends of the day is teaching our viewers how to use them. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it meaningful? When do you start? When do you stop? And this is one that we've talked about, and it's changed dynamics this year. So Coach Ron Rivera, if I said to you he's 20-2 over under as a dog of 6 or more, people would say, wow, great trend. But he was 18-0 at Carolina. He's 2-2 in that role at Washington like he is tonight. Is that a play that is going to get the thumbs up, the thumbs down, or the flat hand? Because, again, this Washington team is not the same dynamic as the Panthers.
Yeah, I've got to give it a neutral. It's certainly not a thumbs down because we do have an extended track record from this coach in this role. And I'm not going to say there's no way, but it is a new team and a new situation. And let's be honest, this isn't Rivera's team yet in Washington. That'll be more next year and the year after, should he survive that long, which we think he will. But he's still dealing with kind of, especially in 2020, it's not a roster that's been remade in his image yet. So I've got to give it a flat hand, not a must bet and not a automatic fade.
Are you saying he needs a quarterback?
He's got a quarterback, Alex Smith. People telling me Alex Smith's the best quarterback in the division yesterday. I don't know if I'm buying that, though. Certainly not when Daniel Jones is back.
Situational play, guys. This happened yesterday, so I want to bring it up. NFL teams off a shutout loss. We saw the Chargers. We know how much that line is going to adjust this week. Just a reminder, since 1991, teams off a shutout loss are 58% against the spread. You're embarrassed NFL team. We know everyone was watching. You tend to bounce back. I will say this, though. As a home dog like the Chargers are a little weak, it's 57.4%. One thing to mark your calendars, write it down and save it for futures. If an NFL team is off a shutout loss and they are an away dog the next week, they have hit 67.2% since 1991. So keep that thought in mind the next few weeks. If a team gets shut out and they're an away dog the next week. And you talked about a 18-0 tennis run, Prez. Friends of Ralph play Nick Borman. Nick Borman is on a 12-3 soccer run and an 18-4-2, 82% all-sport run. And I'll tell you what, this is what I love about Nick. He's got a game in soccer today. Kicks off noon Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. It's Southampton plus $1.85 against Brighton. Now, when you're betting soccer, you could bet a two-way line or a three-way line. A two-way line, you would get Southampton about pick. And then if it's a draw, nothing happens, you get your money back. But no, he takes the big odds, leaves the draw in play, so it's a three-way line, and takes Southampton plus 185 against Brighton. Teddy, we're going to get you out of here in time.
Oh, you're beautiful, Ralph.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff, Ralph Michaels. Hey, Ralph, I got at least 5 minutes of stuff I want to talk to you about. Do you have time?
Yeah, on the presidential address tomorrow with Matt. So if you guys want mid-majors, Matt, red-hot prop plays, make sure you tune in on Tuesday, which you should have said, Prez, instead of talking about some of the chat room people.
Oh, thanks, Ralph.
Boom.
Awesome stuff, except I thought we did the show on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, awesome, great show. Big shout out to Marco, Matt, and Ralph for joining us. Teddy, I love you, man. Guys, make sure you come back tomorrow for Teddy's life-changing news. As well, again, $9 Mondays at Sports Memo Wager Talk. Teddy, we're done. Take us home, 12:50. I expect a public apology from you tomorrow.
Well, I didn't rip you in public. I was just ripping you in a little chat. So there's no public apology. I could privately apologize to you. But first, I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with Prez and I, hang out with Ralph, the Pen, and Marco, and Mid-Major Matt. We'll be back again right here on Wager Talk Today in 23 hours and 10 minutes. Meanwhile, enjoy the games and good luck tonight. Cheers.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.